Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to another edition of the England Rogers Sports Hour. Roger's not here with us today, but we have Monali Patel filling in for Roger. And thanks, Monali, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Ingle. Good to be back.
Yes, as usual, we have a packed show today. There's a lot to talk about. There's Formula One, there's tennis, French Open, there's women's golf, US Open. And of course, there's lots of cricket going on. The IPL, West Indies and England, Pakistan and Bangladesh, a couple other tough series. So we'll talk about those. Track and field as usual. And also, we will get into some soccer at the end because today is the finals. Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain. Would say Paris Saint-Germain win their first ever championship. We will see.
I don't see your team there, though. I
No.
don't see you.
They actually won this week. It's not a big championship, but at least Chelsea, they won the European Championship. But not the big one. And we're hoping that one day they'll get, well, they should be in the next year, the Champions League. So let's hope that they will play better. But I think that Chelsea will get better as they go along. I think we want to start with today with the Formula One, Manali. The Spanish Grand Prix qualifying is about to start shortly. I think they've got the three practice. I don't know if the practice tells you a lot, but it sometimes gives the drivers confidence, see how they're going to go. Piastri, McLaren, and Lando Norris 1 and 2 in the third practice. So no surprises there because they seem to have the best car this year. And the surprising part for me, though, is Ferrari because Leclerc, he was third in practice and he's been always up top in practice. But Lewis Hamilton, he's down in ninth position. And I'm starting to wonder if age is a factor. I heard one expert said he thinks so, and I'm starting to believe him.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up age because I also read recently that apparently their car is just not drivable.
Right?
And maybe you could shed some light on that because I'm not really sure how the mechanics behind the car goes with the way it's designed. But
yeah, there's some talk about the setup of the car is not to his liking, but he also said the first year he went to Mercedes, he had the same issues where he didn't understand the car, and he he had similar issues. So I don't know if his car is not drivable. It's not doesn't have the pace as the other cars. It seemed like even maybe he's probably thinking he should have stayed at Mercedes because Mercedes is beating Ferrari this year, and maybe Mercedes is starting to get it right and Ferrari is not. So there's also discussions about maybe his engineer needs to go because he's not doing the things that Lewis wants. So there seems to be some friction there with him and his engineer. And that's not good because that person, you have to be working as a team to if you're going to get results.
and now who
And
picks
it's
the
very
engineer?
well. The engineers comes from Ferrari. He was there before, and Lewis slot into that. But right now they're talking about maybe getting a new one and someone who's going to work with him. Maybe someone he's comfortable with. So I think the driver does have a little say in it, but generally it comes down to Ferrari making the final decision. So I can't see that changing right now. So they have to find a way to work together. There's been incidents where they've raced this year, and you can hear Lewis on the radio asking questions, and there's dead silence, and so
Mhm.
it's just something is just not right at Ferrari. So let's hope they get it right. But I'm starting to, as I said, believe that. I mean, he's getting older. He's not getting any younger. So if he doesn't win another championship soon, I think time will just run out for Lewis, and he will end up on the eighth and not get another one. But we will see how that goes. But we'll keep an eye on the qualifying, which should start in another few minutes. Actually, I think in another 10 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes, they should have the qualifying. So we'll update as we go along on that and let you know who gets the pole if we have an answer before the end of the show, we'll tell you who's in pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix. If you want to move on a bit from there, and other big thing in Europe, close by Spain, I guess, in France is the tennis,
Hmm.
and that's the French Open. And the Canadians, again, not doing the greatest there, but I was surprised to see Felix August. He went out in the first round. He was up 2-0, then he lost, and it was really shocking for me to see him. But recently, he hasn't been playing that well. But I didn't think he would lose after being up in the way he was in that first set. But I mean, first two, he won the first two sets and then just blew it. So, but now we're down to the fourth round of matches, and no, not a lot of surprises there. In the third round, getting to the fourth. Sinner won. Rublev beat Phils. It was a walkover. Um, I think last night, if I recall, there's a couple of TFO won as well. Rune won. And most of the top players, Alcaraz, he had a bit of a. He won in 4 sets. He wasn't happy about it. He won the first 2 sets 6-1, 6-3. Then he lost 4-6 and then won the fourth 6-4. Then he did say he wasn't happy that he had to go to a fourth set. So I'm sure they like to get it over with quickly. But he plays the American Shelton next, a young and upcoming player. And it's going to be interesting to see how Shelton. It's different surface clay, but we'll see how the men do on that. I don't know if you follow the tennis, Monali. Um,
Well, I caught up on it this morning for the show,
okay.
um, but not surprised to see most of the names at the top between Alcaraz and Sinner and Djokovic.
Hmm.
Um, the women's segment's pretty interesting as well. Swiatek, I mean, it's going to be her fourth French Open title if she wins.
Yeah.
But she's not having a great 2025, so it'll be interesting to see how she's going to cap that off with this one.
It's going to be very interesting to see, as you said, because this is her favorite surface, supposedly. It's the clay. So I think she is not the number one seed, but she's probably one of the favorites to win. And she won quite easily last night. And there's another player who went a bit further, another Canadian actually, Mboka, and she lives not too far from here. I think she's just in Burlington. She played Zhang last night, but she lost. But to get to the third round, the 18-year-old, that was a good showing for her.
Mhm.
So I think to start off like this, it's she's played some good tennis recently, and she's one for the future if she keeps in this direction. But yeah, you're correct. The other players, they who were number one seed, went through easily. Most of the Rybakina, she went through as well. Swiatek and Draver, and I think Coco Gauff is coming up today. Pegula went one earlier this morning. Madison Keys is playing today
Yeah.
as well. So some of the top players still have to finish their games today. Hopefully, they will get through, and we will have the top players get into the fourth round and the quarterfinals. But it's not going to be easy because clay is a little tougher than the other surfaces. So we have to see how those players have to make sure that they adjust and the ball doesn't come as quickly as some of them do like it. But definitely, um, it will be interesting to watch how these women get along.
Have you
So
played a lot of tennis over the
I
years?
I did when I was younger. I played a lot of tennis. Back in St. Kitts when I came to Canada first, I played tennis every week. It was something that I really liked. And I was a better doubles player, because I guess, than a singles. But yeah, I played a lot of tennis. And most of my friends played tennis. So we did, after early morning, we played tennis. And then whether it was cricket or soccer season, then we'll play that in the afternoon. But we were up very early, like 6 o'clock in the morning at the tennis court. So, it's good. I think in sports, when you're younger, it's good to be able to try other sports and get rounded, and then you'll decide which one you want to specialize in.
Yeah, absolutely. And now
Did you
all you
play?
do is golf.
Oh, golf, yeah, golf and cricket, but mostly. Actually, I haven't even played much golf this year.
That's shocking.
Yeah, I've played maybe 3 rounds of golf for the whole year.
Did you not
Maybe
golf in
five.
Namibia?
I know I golfed in Zimbabwe. Yeah, I golfed with Sir Richie Richardson and Hamilton Mazakazda, two from, yeah, I golfed with them, and that was probably, and twice here. So yeah, I think just 3 times. No time for golf, which is, and the weather. I've been traveling a lot. Plus, when you come back, yesterday was nice, but then today it's just
Dreadful.
ridiculous,
Yeah.
dreadful. Yeah, but today I have to go to the. We can talk a little bit about cricket to conquer cancer at the Civic Center in Mississauga. So that's the Princess Margaret event, and that starts at around 11. And there's a series of matches today. It's going to be interesting to see how those matches go. It's five-a-side in a cage, and it's dubbed street cricket. So I'm interested to see how it goes and how it's going to play and the turnout. But they are raising money to for cancer research, and they've done that with hockey and other sports. And someone came up with the idea, why not try the cricket? And they've got 40 teams. So
Yeah, our very own Achni Pereira is in there as well.
yes, Hachini is going to be there today. Aaron Johnson is there as well. And yeah, I think Yashi Nasser is going to be playing in one of the teams. Yeah, and there's also a celebrity match, but we'll see who's going to be playing in those matches. Maybe you should come out and play. But
It's a little bit busy. We've got gymnastics this afternoon. But daughter's now 9 hours a week of training, so
mm,
3 hour sessions 3 times a week. But it is a really good initiative, and it's nice to see that cricket's starting to get involved, especially in Canada, with foundations like Princess Margaret. The more awareness, the more money you can raise, the better long
that's so
term to
true.
try and find a cure. Yeah.
That's so true. And the other thing that's kind of disappointing is that today there's also the Blue Jays Cricket Day. So they clash. And I wish the coordinators were able to talk to each other and not have them on the same day. So some players are going to the Princess Margaret Cricket to conquer cancer, and the others are going to be at the Blue Jays game. So, it's something that I think you were there last year at the Blue Jays game, if I recall, at the
Yes.
Cricket Day. And they have similar. Carlos Brathwaite was there too, but he is going to be at the Cricket to Conquer Cancer. He's one of the ambassadors there. And Dwayne Desario, the soccer player, he's going to be there as well. So quite a few celebrities will be at the Cricket to Conquer Cancer. And a lot of the Canadian national players will be at the Blue Jays game. There's going to be bowling exhibitions, I think, teaching people to bowl as they come in. And the first 1,500 fans will get um, a sweatshirt, cricket sweatshirt. So Blue Jays and Cricket Canada sweatshirt. So that will be interesting and that will be good for all the fans. And I just hope that Blue Jays gets a win on this day.
Yeah. we need some luck.
Yeah, they've just gotten over 500. So let's hope they keep going in the right direction.
Do we know who's throwing the first pitch?
I'm not sure who's doing that. I know in the past they've used some cricketers. I know Carlos Brathwaite did it last year. Chris Gale has done it in the past, but I'm not sure who's throwing the first pitch today because I've not seen any big names like that. But I know there are going to be some different things like Bollywood attraction dancing and a couple of DJs as well who are going to be working there with along with the Blue Jays regular DJ. So it's expected to be a fun day, and they're trying to get the cricketers out. Yeah, but we need to make sure that when we get fans out, we need to get fans from all demographics and not just focus on one area.
one area. Yeah.
Yeah, so cricket is
I
not
think
just.
we worked pretty hard on that last year
Hmm.
with the trophy
We
tour.
did, yes, and that helped to bring out a lot of people as well. So the trophy tour for the World Cup helped. Let's hope. Well, we won't have a trophy tour at that time because if Canada qualifies for the World Cup, it's going to be in February next year. So don't believe there'll be any trophy tour in the winter. And no Blue Jays for sure in the winter season.
I think at the moment the Blue Jays need to focus on their win, and Canada needs to focus on their qualifiers before we speak about the World Cup.
Trust me, Canada is going to go to the World Cup. Can't, but we will
Very
focus on
hopeful.
that. We will focus on that for sure. But very hopeful that Canada, you'll have to slip up badly not to get to the World Cup. And but those things happen. It's T20 cricket. Who thought that UAE would have beaten Bangladesh recently?
Hmm. But I mean,
And
Bangladesh now seems to be
yeah,
making a habit of losing to associate countries after the US loss last year.
yes,
But I do believe
correct.
our home ground advantage is a big one. I think on a good day at King City, we could potentially beat the U. We could potentially beat Australia on that ground.
Potentially, yeah. It's we know it inside out. The players know it inside. They play it week after week, and they've been talking about that and saying, "Listen, this is our home ground, and we know it. So let's play to our strengths." So let's see what happens there. And we'll talk a bit more about that later. But we just wanted to wrap up the other sports and wrap up the women's U.S. Open golf championship. Nelly Carter, actually, the world's number one. She's back in contention. She had not such a good first day, but she's now tied second, along with a lot of maybe a different what, one, two, three, four, six, two, four, six people on -5, and
Hmm.
they're chasing the leader, Saigo, who's at -8. And today, as they normally call the third day, the move-in day. So I just think if Nelly stays close, that she has a very good chance of winning because she's such a good player. I think if you ever watch golf and anyone who want to learn golf and understand, I think just watch it. Nelly's swing. Even the men, they say they wish they could swing it like Nelly. You know, she's very smooth swing. But golf is a lot of mental. So let's hope she stays there. And if you have players who are close by, like Lynn Grant, she's a good player as well. So a number of people are in striking distance. So it's not over yet. And normally the person who's at the pressure comes on them who's leading, especially if they've never won a championship such as this. There's always some pressure coming on that person. So we will follow that and see how it ends up and see if Saigo can go on to win with all these top players that are chasing her. Okay, anything else you want to talk about golf or any other sport before we get into some cricket?
Well, you mentioned the Champions League final. They're clashing
Yes.
with some of the games today with the tennis, but
Hmm.
who's your money on? Who you?
Um, I'm thinking that Paris Saint Germain will win. They're not the favorites, but I'm thinking they've never won. Maybe it's just destiny and it's their time. But I don't, when teams who keep winning and understand how to win, it's
Hmm.
easier for them to win. So Inter Milan, they've won the Champions League before, and they probably are thinking that they will win. And most fans, I'm sure, if anybody who's betting, probably will bet on Inter Milan to win. Because Paris Saint Germain has had some top players in the past, and none of them were able to do it. But sometimes you don't need great players. Sometimes it's just playing as a team. But if you look at it, I don't know. It's on form. Paris Saint Germain's been pretty good. They've won the last 4 matches. So they've Inter Milan, they've won four, one draw. They won the last one. They had a draw just recently, so on form, I'm not quite sure. I could say. In previous meetings, PSG has won three, and Inter's won two and one draw. So not a big difference there. So, but my money today is on PSG.
We'll have to see how well the coordination comes in and how well they hold their nerve.
Yes, we'll have to see that. I'm just out to I'm not sure. I should have asked Theo before he went who he was supporting, but I'll get to ask him later on, and we'll figure out who will win. But yeah, my money is on PSG for this one, and just looking here quickly at the first qualifying is that look like it's Hamilton is down in 11th position. Whereas Piastri, Verstappen 1, 2, Norris 3, Leclerc is 6. So they've just started. Hamilton has to get better. I hope he does. But yeah, I think that's it for me with any other sports. So we can get on to some cricket. You're listening to the England Roger Sports Hour. Sitting in for Roger today is Monali Patel, and you're listening to it on Love Bay Afrobeats Music Talk Radio. And Manali, I just wanted to start with the IPL because we're into basically two more matches. The
Mhm.
surprise for me is that the finals is on a Tuesday, but it's in India, so I don't think it matters. The crowd will
It
go any
makes
day.
no difference.
This makes no difference. And RCB, who's been a favorite from day one, they are through to the finals. They beat who was it? They beat Punjab Kings, right? And a very low scoring game. Punjab Kings only made 101 in the qualifier one, and RCB dominated 106 for two in 10 overs. So they are looking like a team that's destined to win this championship.
Well, they needed it, didn't they? They've struggled over the years, and for RCB fans, it's been hard to watch their team just not getting to the peak that they wanted. But they've had a lot of positives this year. I mean, to have the likes of Kohli finding form and consistently
Hmm.
performing. Um, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can finish the job and win on Tuesday.
Yes, I don't think they've ever won, right? They've never won the championships.
They've never the women have
The
had
women have, yeah,
one
but the
title.
men,
Yeah,
yeah. And it's they're waiting to see after they're waiting for their opening because Punjab Kings have to play Mumbai Indians.
yeah,
And in the last time they met, Punjab won that game, but that was a league game, and this now is just
yeah,
for all.
yeah,
So I don't think that's gonna be the same. Mumbai, Mumbai actually started out the year looking as though they would not even get to the playoffs because
yeah.
they started, I think, with six losses and then they turned it around, and now they're
And
looking for a
it's
chance
quite
to
a
get back to the
turnaround.
finals.
Yeah,
It is
I
hard to
still
turn
feel
around.
like they will end up in the finals. I just have a hunch because there's something about Mumbai Indians and finishing strong. So, and if you're an RCB fan, you're gonna hope that you don't see Mumbai Indians in the final because it can. Well, I mean, they're great at closing the finals. So,
Yeah, they've actually won 5 times,
mhm,
and they have been in I think 6 finals. So they've won 5 out of 6 finals.
yeah.
So it's not the team that you want to see in the finals. If you were RCB, you're probably quietly rooting for Punjab Kings. When you look at if you look back at the IPL, a lot of the teams lost. It would have been totally different maybe if we didn't have that break and the teams lost players because they had
Mhm.
to go back home. And some of the teams were fortunate enough that their players stayed back. So
Yeah.
The English players went back home. Some of the Australians left. So it affected the balance of the team as they had
Mhm.
to bring in new players. And it was due to that, I don't know what you call it. I don't want to say it was a war, but the disagreement with India and Pakistan over the
Yeah,
Kashmir
and
region. So
it affected both PSL and IPL. And PSL also losing a week of games and also losing some players. Um, it's terrible when sports gets affected by politics
it
and
is because I was actually saw I saw some flash on my no phone that PSL finals was done, and I went to Quick Info to look for it, and there was nothing on Quick Info about the PSL.
yeah.
And I was speaking to someone, and he said, Quick Info is owned by an Indian company.
It was
So,
there. It just wasn't prominent enough. It
okay.
was
I
a
guess you
little
had to search
note.
for it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I couldn't find it, and because normally it's there in the with the rest of the
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that are going on, and I didn't see it, and I'm okay. What's going on here? But yeah, the IPL. I mean, in anything, there's no cricket normally when IPL is happening. Not too many of the top teams,
Mhm.
and but as I said, the break made a big difference. It changed things. Other series have started. England and West Indies have started. South Africa is getting ready for the champions,
Mhm.
and yeah, so there are a lot of players, as we said, has left. And I don't know if you recalled. I just wanted to talk about an incident because he said Rabada, he left the IPL. Uh, I don't just saying it was a personal matter, and it turned out he had a positive drug test, and he's now said that he's sorry about the drug use, but I won't be Mister I apologize too much.
Yes, I
And
just saw that. I
like,
mean, fair enough, I suppose.
I
He's
guess he could.
apologized.
He's apologized, yeah.
He's buried the hatchet and moved on.
Yeah, he said you think he owe it to talk to his teammates, but he doesn't need to keep talking about it, which he's correct. I mean, he's moved on. Whatever happened, he did it. He's probably learned a lesson, I hope.
Actually,
You know?
this is a pretty big topic that's going to, I think, now affect cricket more and more because cricket going into the Olympics
Hmm.
and IOC being so hard on tests, regular testing, random testing. I don't know, and I don't believe cricket tests nearly as often.
They're
And
actually testing more now. We have when we go to the ICC League Two games now,
mhm,
prior to the tour, but as soon as we at our first practices, they randomly come and pick 4 players and test them, and then players are now tested after every game.
so it's going to
So
increase with time
it's going to
leading into
increase with
the
time.
Olympics. Yeah.
Yes. One of my things that I've discussed with the testing authorities here in Canada is that like some of the banned stuff, like Canada has legalized marijuana use. USA have some states that do it, other places like Holland and stuff, but yet still it's on the banned list.
Yeah.
So, and I know that there's players and athletes generally who probably use it at some point, and it takes a long time to get through your
Mhm.
system. So, and they would just say, "Oh, it's recreational," because and it's some of them will use the argument it's legal,
Yeah. And not
but
sports enhancing.
right, but
Yeah.
it's still on the banned list. So yeah, it's something. There's some of the things that are on the list. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, you just cannot take an over the counter
Hmm.
pain medication or anything like that. And the good thing is that there are apps that you can go on and have a look and see if whatever you want to take is on the banned substance list. So players have no reason to use things now
Yeah.
and say they didn't know because you're responsible for
Well,
that.
and I mean, if you want to be living the life of an athlete and you want to be competing, then this is something that goes hand in hand with it. So I do believe that cricket is going to see more failed tests because more not because there are more people doing drugs, but I think overall there just wasn't enough testing being done in cricket.
Yes,
And
they're gonna.
if they want, if they want to meet IOC requirements, then it's going to be an eye opener for a lot of athletes.
And I don't believe that the education is there also
Mhm.
around testing and about banned substances in cricket. Because if you talk to a lot of cricketers, they don't really pay attention to those kind of things. So that's something, and you can't plead ignorance, as we're saying. So that's
Mhm.
something that has to be increased as well, the education on what can be used and what cannot be used, and
Yeah.
how often. I mean, I know of cases where players, like I think Andre Russell, he was banned for whereabouts testing.
Mhm.
And those, I don't think cricketers, they just probably, most cricketers just jump on a plane and they don't tell anybody where they're going,
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're an athlete at that level, you have to say, where you're going to be because they show up to your house to test you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So were you
but
guys randomly
mm,
tested in Namibia or Zimbabwe, or was it just in the US recently?
yes, in Namibia, as soon as we went to our first practice, they came with four names and said these
Mhm.
players have to be tested today. And they had four people assigned to each one of them to stay with them until they were ready to be tested.
It's not overwhelming at all.
Yeah, I mean, we had these four people sitting at our practices. Every time the player gets up to walk and go somewhere, they follow them.
We follow them.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it's best you probably just get it over with and do it,
Yep.
and yeah, and get on with the rest of your day. Yeah. So, but back to the IPL and your thoughts on tomorrow's fixture with Mumbai Indians and PBS. Just thinking that Mumbai probably will win, and if Mumbai wins and get to RCB, as you said, I know everybody wants to see Kohli go out with the championship,
Yeah.
but he's done with Test cricket. That he's not done with T20, but I'm sure they want to see him in the with a IPL championship because I don't believe he's going to play for much longer either.
Mhm.
So I think everyone is going to be rooting for Kohli to get that win, and they have a good team, and I think they have a good chance as well. But as you said, Mumbai Indians, if they get there, they know how to win. So I'm kind of rooting for Kohli. Although RCB is not my favorite, I'm rooting for Kohli to get that championship. And
I I would like to think RCB will win it, but if they meet Mumbai Indians, I think Mumbai Indians will take it. I, they're just better finishers.
yes, and the other way that the IPL is affecting teams, because for example, Rutherford and um, Romero Shepherd were both selected on West Indies teams to tour in the one day series, and they decided to stay at the IPL.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe somebody told them. Who knows? This, that they have to stay, but I don't believe the other countries. Their players left, but I guess West Indies doesn't have that kind of power anymore to say
Yeah.
we are not staying. We are taking our players because
Maybe
they
you could
don't. Hmm?
well maybe you could shed light on this because I don't know what the figures would be, but what is the comparison in player pay between West Indies and let's say in England?
It's way different. The English players, the West Indies' highest contract is 150,000, something like that, for the player retainer contract. Where the England's, if I'm not mistaken, at least more than double that.
Right. So at the
Right.
end of the
So
day, if IPL is offering a bigger paycheck,
then they're gonna stay at the IPL
that's yeah,
because they make more money at the IPL than they will for their contracts.
yeah, absolutely.
So they're not gonna stay. They're not going to. and then maybe to Shepard's case, he's with the RCB, and he probably see a chance of another championship and
Hmm.
bonus money and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Shepard was not Shepard. Rutherford was with Gujarat, and they had a chance as well. And
Yeah.
so maybe they're thinking. But it was interesting though that to Marius Shepard, he was saying that he don't want to be a finisher. They're using him as a finisher. He wants to play as a batsman.
Hmm.
And I realized that when you look at many of the West Indians, except for like Puran, they're used in a finishing role mostly because
Yeah.
that's the perception that that's the type of player they are.
Come in and swipe and see how many
Yes,
you can get at the end. Yeah.
yeah, it's just yeah. But I mean, I think they brought it on themselves because they tried to play this hitting the ball all over the place role. So they don't play. West Indies play boundaries, a boundary hitting team, and that's
Yeah.
how they play their cricket. So I think that's why most any franchise team that pick a West Indian will know, okay, these guys like to hit boundaries, so that will be their role. So they're not the type of players who are going to stay in there and bat and find the gaps like a Kohli or somebody else. It's always boundary after boundary.
Except West Indies can't do that right now.
No, and
They're
this is a
really
good way
struggling.
to yes, and probably is a good way to go over to the West Indies men's first, and they beat even the first game they lost to Ireland, but then they came back and they tied the series
Hmm.
with Ireland. They had a good chance in the second game to win, but then the rain.
Yeah.
But then they go to England and they don't look like the same team that beat England just a few months ago in the Caribbean. And England scored 400 for eight, and West Indies were all up for 162.
I mean, we're talking 400 runs.
Mm-hmm.
400. And you've got to question the bowling unit at that point. I mean, where's the edge in pace that West Indies once had? Where, it's
I
if
don't
you
think
can pull
West.
off a 400 run win, you've got
Mhm.
nothing wrong with your system. But when you give 400 runs off the bat, that asks even more questions.
Yeah, it asks a lot of questions, and a question like why isn't maybe a guy like not Roland Holder, but Jason Holder not there
Mhm.
because Jason is having one of the better seasons, but then he's not here. And if you look at the breakdown of the scoring, it's West Indies. I mean, in the power play, England was 90 for one in the first 10 overs. West Indies were 58 for three. In the middle overs, England scored 193 for three. you know, and West Indies 104 for seven, so they were all out. So it's really it's and you look at runs and boundaries for England, 222 runs and boundaries. So
It's
it's
a
a lot
lot.
of work. It's a
It's a
lot.
lot.
It's a lot of work for West Indies to do to come back, and just even mentally, how
Yeah.
do they come back from that? But they don't have a long time to find. I think the next match goes on. Is it Monday? Is it?
Next game is tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Hmm.
And yeah, so they have to come back quickly and try and do something and win. And then after that, they've got just two. They have to win tomorrow to have a chance of
Hmm.
winning the series. England win the series. So West Indies have to bounce back and find
And
a way
if I'm not wrong, they need to win this for the World Cup points as
for
well, correct?
yes, these are World Cup points. Yes, they are just behind England by 2 points,
Yeah.
but England has done what they need to do so far. So West Indies definitely need this win to
But it's
get there.
interesting because England went through a patch just like West Indies is where they couldn't do much right and it was a lot of losses and they now seem to be finding a little bit of that form and the mental aspect of it back.
Hmm.
It could also be because they're in their backyard and West Indies is a bit of a weaker side at the moment. But the West Indies does have a lot of problems right now. I mean, they cannot seem to find wins consistently enough. They cannot seem to perform consistently enough. I'm not sure if the breakout league would have helped in finding new talent or not,
I
but
don't think so. I doubt it.
it's they need to figure some stuff out pretty quickly.
West Indies cricket to me just is a lot on the hold because I mean the men and the women lost
Hmm.
3-0 in the T20I, and then
Hmm.
they lost huge also in the first ODI,
Yeah,
345.
yeah.
They scored 237, but they lost by 108 runs. And again, I think some of the things that West Indies are doing with the cricket development, it's just questionable. I mean, they said there was a process to select the new West Indies Test captain, but you picked a captain who hasn't played Test cricket for over 2 years,
Hmm.
and that's because of some interview process.
Yeah,
The person not making your Test team, but he becomes your Test captain.
yeah.
So I just wonder how they do things. But you know what? Some of them say it's good. So Viv said he don't think Chase is a bad choice. I don't believe Chase is a bad choice if he was playing Test cricket.
Yeah,
But I hope they're not forcing him to play Test cricket because of maybe he's the leadership qualities.
yeah,
And then you're given another guy who's fighting for his position, Warwickon, a vice captain.
yeah.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But yeah, like some of the, how Caribbean people are, they don't hold back. And if you go into some of those Caribbean Facebook groups and stuff, and you see the comments, and they tell you, well, it's a bunch of jokers. And the one comment I saw yesterday was that why people fussing. I mean, the West Indies president name is Shallow, so how you expect anything more?
I do.
Yeah.
I must say, a West Indian crowd at a game is very interesting. They do not
Yes,
hold back.
they don't. They don't hold back for sure. And West Indians, yeah, West Indians at a game is good, but yeah, West Indies have a lot of work to do. The women's team to me is just one player. It's if Haley
Only
Matthews fails,
Matthews.
then there's nothing else really happening.
And you have to
And
feel for her because she cannot win every single game for her team. She can't.
yeah, it's
It's a
that's
miracle that
right.
she brings them in a respectable losing position every game.
Yeah, and two of their players actually injured. Better players, Henry and
Mhm.
Dotton, they're out injured, and Stephanie Taylor, who's along on the tours, but
Yeah.
she's also carrying injuries and don't play the matches. She's there, but she may play one or two matches and then she's out again. So
You
those
know,
are the things.
that one is a really big question mark for me because even when I was at the Super 50 recently,
Hmm.
she had gone through rehab for her knee because she had surgery done on it, but she only played one game and her team
Correct.
needed her. So at that point, my question to the selectors is if you've got a player who's consistently breaking down, you know you'll only be able to get one game out of them. Why are they on tour? Why are we not picking a younger option where you could try and groom them into becoming someone more solid on the team? And they did have some younger options at the Super 50. I'm sure they would have had similar players even at their T20 competition, which was a month after that.
Hmm.
You know, yes, in her prime, Stefani Taylor was a good player, but at the moment, her body just isn't able to support the team anymore.
You're correct, and I totally agree with you. And now I don't see why they keep insisting on playing her because I think she last played was the second T20,
Mhm.
and then she haven't been there, and
Yeah,
she's off the field most more than she's on. So it's time to probably just move on and get some of the younger players who were there and get them ready
yeah,
to yeah. And I believe. Oh wow, I was just saying some news here, but I'll share that with you in a minute. But yeah, it's interesting to see. But I must comment though. I must comment that St. Kitts had its first women's pick in Jazara Claxton, And she had a good debut on the T20. She had 4 overs, 1 for 15. I mean, she
Yeah.
made a duck, but the bowling is what she was selected for. So young people like that should be getting a chance and to build. And there's a lot of young players, as you said, and I don't think it makes sense persisting with a player who you may get 1 or 2 games
Yeah.
out of a 5 match series. So
Yeah.
it's not the best thing.
It's actually a
Yeah.
player that I watched at the Super 50, Janaba Joseph.
Hmm.
And she didn't go on to get a 50 in the tournament, but she gave her team a solid start almost every game. Her technique was impeccable.
Hmm.
And she had the power. She was young, but she had the power, she had the technique, and she had the temperament to keep her going. And I was quite surprised when I didn't see her name in any of the squads. I would have thought, given her form at the Super 50, she should have been one of the players selected.
Yes, for sure. Well, as I said to you, I just saw some news come out, and this person you met recently, as and Aminal Bulbul, he has been voted as the president of Bangladesh cricket. You
I
think he will?
saw that this morning.
Yeah, he's a player that I played against him back in the day, and I ran into him in Sri Lanka last year, and we sat down and had some chats and some about some of the memories days that we had, you know, and good to see him back. I knew he was doing a lot of work with ICC and
Mhm.
traveling a lot and stuff, but I didn't know he had aspirations to be president of Bangladesh. So
I didn't
congratulations to
either.
him.
We just spoke actually, I think a couple of months ago, and
Hmm.
he mentioned nothing about this, absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
And yeah, but good on him. I mean,
yeah, good on him for real.
Bangladesh is another place where they could always use good leadership. And like you mentioned, done a lot of work with ICC
Yeah,
Asia over the years. So
yeah, and he was a very good cricketer actually. He was one of the guys that whenever we played Bangladesh, we would sit down and discuss him quite a bit, and he was really a fearsome batsman. So congratulations to him. I'll get in touch with him and actually have to talk to him. So that's good. We've got about 12 minutes left. Anything else on cricket that you want to talk about? Well, Bangladesh, for sure, they're playing again a series against, they just lost to UAE and then now they're losing again to Pakistan in their
yeah.
series. So I guess people are fed up and that could be one of the reasons why they said, hey, let's make that change.
Yeah, but for me, again, it's a similar situation with selections because I'm assuming Bangladesh must have other playing options in the country, and we
Hmm.
seem to be seeing almost the same core players for the last 5, 6 years now. So it makes you wonder if you've got players who've not been performing, they haven't performed for a few years. Why? Why are we still so persistent with the same squad? I mean, they've
That
had
is a
their
good
fair
question.
share of trouble with coaches as well in the past, you know.
Hmm. I think
So
Phil Simmons is currently their coach, right?
yeah, yeah, he is.
Yeah, yeah. There's been a lot of problems with coaching on and off the field. They fire coaches in between.
Hmm.
Yeah, and as you said, it's the same players over and over, and then they must have young players who are coming through that they probably need to make
Yeah.
that change. And let's hope that Bulbul can make a difference in Bangladesh cricket. But they've now lost the series to Pakistan with 1 match to play tomorrow. They're 2-0 down, so I don't believe they're gonna. I hope they can finish with a win, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's probably a team for Canada to play against right now too. They might get some wins. Might
Everyone
just get
needs everyone needs that confidence booster, you know?
yeah. So maybe hey Bangladesh get a win against a full member, and you could say hey I beat a full member.
But
Yeah.
speaking of Canada, actually, so we've got the qualifiers, and you'd assume that we will qualify because the competition that we're facing, not having the US
Hmm.
in the qualifiers, is a big advantage.
Yes.
But then we look at the League Two games, and we've now lost two back to back series. We've got Scotland and Namibia coming here in August. Scotland is a strong side.
Very
Namibia
strong.
might struggle at King City. I feel
Hmm.
like we still might have the upper hand there, given we've got home ground advantage. But Scotland's a solid side.
Scotland's a solid side. Again, King City might give a bit of an advantage. Don't know. Scotland is a strong Canada thing that Canada in the first series. I mean, different circumstances, different personnel, everything. Canada beat Scotland, caught them off guard, I think, in the first
Mhm.
series in the UAE and won.
Yeah,
But Scotland has been playing some very good cricket. They have a series starting on Monday
yeah,
with Nepal. So it's one time they just finished another one, so they're
yeah,
playing some very good cricket. I think if Canada can come out with at least two wins, maybe three, somehow surprise. They have to beat Canada. Definitely have to beat Namibia in both games, and
hmm,
then hope you can get a win from Scotland because
yeah,
Scotland, as I said, they're probably the best team in the group, and it was just one of those things that Canada played them at a time when they were able to
mhm,
take advantage and win. But they're playing some very good cricket, and they're going to be probably coming off of playing more cricket, a lot more cricket than Canada, because after
yeah,
this, they have other seats. Most of the players play in England, and they probably be playing games regularly
yeah,
leading up to the Canada series.
yeah. And I think a few of their players are playing in the max 60 as well, so they balance fairly well between the franchise and the local stuff. So
Yes.
it'll be a tough series. It'll be a tough series, but for me, it's incredible to see the amount of success the U.S. has had over the last few years. I mean, they've really,
US is a good team. They play a brand of cricket that is good. They play a fearless brand of cricket.
yeah,
They don't really worry about what the I don't think they and they have batting that depth too, and the guys back themselves. You look at the series against Canada recently. Um, Smith Patel, his first century, and it was a big century.
hmm,
There's another player, I can't remember the name, but his first 52. So there was a couple of firsts, and Canada were in the ascendancy at 105 for five, and you thought one more wicket and Canada would be fine. But the
yeah,
US went on to get 260, and it was just too much for Canada. So
yeah. But
I
that
believe
too was partly Canada's sloppiness in the field. I mean,
sloppiness in the field,
you drop
dropping catches. Yeah,
missed stumpings. You can't, you can't do
yeah,
that when you're playing against a team like the US and you've got them five down and you're in a comfortable position, and then all of a sudden you've got two players that you've dropped or you've missed a stumping off of, and they go on to score half centuries, and that's the game
yeah,
gone from you.
yeah. That's the game. You just need to take advantage there. I think that game they shouldn't have gotten to 200, but they found a way. And as I said, I think they're a team that's very confident and they play very, very fearless. I actually watched them and I saw that, like even the captain, Monali Patel, he comes in and from ball one, he's looking to score.
Yeah.
You
There's
know,
something very American about them.
yes, yes,
And I mean, you could see how much bench strength they have because Aaron Jones didn't even play.
yes. That was a surprise to me
Yeah.
because I thought Aaron Jones, especially coming off of his great, knock against Canada, they'll probably think, okay, he's gonna have
Yeah.
confidence when he meets Canada. But no, he didn't play. Even when a couple of players were injured later on, he didn't play. So
I mean, before Canada played this series, I think 2 weekends before that, they had the Houston Open, and most of these players were at the Houston Open.
hmm
And even at that tournament, Aaron Jones, I think he scored a couple of half centuries, looked in really good form. He struggled when he initially started, but by the end of the tournament, he was in really good nick. So I was really surprised to see him not get a game. But they have a lot of these tournaments too, don't they? The US
they
between
play a lot of tournaments.
they,
They've got
they
yeah,
constantly play. Yeah, yeah,
and they play 365. Yeah,
hmm,
and then they've got the minor league and the major league, which helps. The major league, I think, helps tremendously because
yeah,
then they get a chance to play the top players in the world, and they realize how they get to learn
hmm,
how it's done. They talk to them,
yeah,
get tips from them. So I think those kind of things. I mean, we've got the GT20, and that's helped a bit. I remember one year. Yeah, the players went from GT20 into a tournament and it was successful, but
hmm,
I don't know that there's so much to change, so
yeah,
it'll take time.
yeah.
But the talent is there, but I think something else is missing.
Yeah, sometimes it's a mindset too.
hmm
And I know we've said this before, but just like winning becomes a habit, losing also becomes a habit, which is why I'm very nervous coming into these qualifiers because yes, you would expect Canada's going to beat the competition of the qualifiers, but they've just come from so many back-to-back losses. You forget how to win sometimes.
Yes, and that's something that we've spoken about, that winning is a habit, as you just said, and losing becomes a habit.
Yeah,
So that's something that needs to happen very quickly, is to start getting. I thought after coming off of the Cayman Islands, players looked positive, but I don't know the mindset. That's part of it. The mental game is part of it that needs to be improved,
yeah,
because I would like to see a team that's fearless and just go out and play that kind of cricket. If you're
yeah,
going to be trying for survival, you're going to get that one ball that's going to get you.
yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. And let's hope I can do something to help change it.
I've got full hope in you, full
Let's
confidence in
hope.
you. Um,
Yeah. Well,
but I do wish you the
it's gonna
best.
it's gonna be a tough. It's gonna be tough. Bermuda's actually started a tournament this week. They're playing a T20 tournament to help them to get ready. And they've invited actually some Canadian players who are batsmen. I said no. I think they
That's
want
really interesting that you say that because they're going to play this tournament and then they
to.
also play another series before the qualifiers. Canada's also part of that series, which was one of my other concerns. I just feel like it might be a bit too much cricket leading into the qualifiers. I don't know if the players have the fitness to last as many games.
Well, I was wondering, yeah, for Bermuda, yes, I was wondering the same thing, because you kind of get fed up. But Bermuda have asked not to play against Canada in those warm-up matches, so they won't be playing Canada. So Canada basically played against Cayman Islands and Bahamas.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the first match on the 15th is against Bermuda.
yeah,
And King City, hoping it will play well. It's June, but we've been getting some crazy weather,
yeah.
so I don't know, how it's going to be. I'm going to try and get out there tomorrow and see what it's like in the S9s, and see if we can get an idea of how the pitches will play from that.
Yeah, it just
So,
hasn't, we haven't had the heat. We haven't had the warmth this year.
yes. So, I think we've just got 2 minutes to go, but I think we need to wrap up early because there's a program that starts in live exactly at 11. So, thanks, Monali, for having me. And even when Roger is back, I think the three of us can have a show together whenever you're free.
Yeah, sounds
And
lovely.
I think we will work towards that. So, thanks to everyone for listening, tuning in, and be safe and have a wonderful weekend.